Can I ask you about the England under-21s events in Serbia? I mean, obviously Danny Rose, although he's a Tottenham player, although he's on loan at Sunderland, and Stephen Colker was there as well. What have you spoken to either of those players? What have they said to you?
Well, obviously it's extremely difficult for Danny, and he was disappointed by the happening, by the situation he had to live, by the atmosphere that he had to be confronted with. I think I certainly told Daniel, and I tell you guys now that I support him completely in this situation. He felt abused, and this is obviously a serious matter, which at the moment is in the end of both FAs in a certain way. I think the governing bodies have made a quite strong stance in England, which is fully appreciated. But I think, hopefully UEFA can give us a little bit more indication towards what they are expecting to do.
What would you do if you encountered such a thing as Tottenham manager?
Well, I think we've spoken so much about this kind of situations, and it's almost like it hasn't put a break into the amount of events that we have to deal with on a weekly basis, which is in the end very, very sad. At the moment, I think it's important is to see actions instead of words. Our words have, on the recent events from the last year or so, or even more, probably haven't done enough, because there seems to be a consequence of things happening. I think the governing bodies have to act maybe quicker, more aggressive way, so that we can, in some way serve as an example in this massive sport where we are inserted, and hopefully, equal, the Olympics in a certain way where this kind of events don't seem to happen.
Was October the 19th also ringed on your calendar, given that it's Tottenham against Chelsea? Is it a date you've been looking forward to since the fixtures came out?
I think in the end there is one thing that has been, to a certain extent, blown out of proportion in some way, because this is certainly not a personal matter. Neither this game is going to decide the future of both teams in the end of the Premier League. After this game there will be 30 more games to play, and both teams will have to have decisive matches in front of them. And it counts as 3 points. It doesn't win as a trophy. Obviously, it's a game that we play at home in a situation where we are now with 4 wins in a row, which we approach it very, very confidently. But the reality is that the opponent approaches it in the same way, and maybe even more, bearing in mind the trophies that they won in the past.